Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Hey, what's up, Plank?
What's up?
All right. Hey, we got Guy Moore. Hey, I know Jay is at the game. I mean, they celebrating. I'm not sure if Quick gonna be able to make it on. Hey, we got a Victory Monday coming up tomorrow. Hey,
I'll take the V. I'll take the win. So that's a good thing for us. Forget all the rest of stuff.
Yeah.
We still haven't been eliminated from playoff contention, strangely enough.
Right. Gift that keeps on giving. We win, and the Cowboys lose.
Okay. Hey, thank everybody for tuning in today to Bears Banner. Hey, Bears Banner, today we're broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and you know what? We haven't been on Twitch TV in a while, but we're on Twitch TV now. So, hey, if you're watching on Facebook, do us a favor, switch over to either YouTube or Twitch TV. All right. Man, this game here, man, Plank, Guy, we sitting up there, we texting Jay and Quick, and we get into the middle of the fourth quarter, and I'm like, man, why they let this thing hang around, man? Why they let this thing hang around?
Well, my issue with the Bears this year is their coaches are not strategic. The issue in the game, let's say you got 4 minutes left and you got a 2-touchdown lead. Is the issue that you need to score more points? No, it would be great if you scored more points, but the issue is because you're winning right now, the clock is what you need to be playing against, not the points. So every time they out there with the offense and they running these passes and it's an incomplete pass, that stops the clock. That is your enemy way more than the other team. You need to keep the clock running. How do we do that, Bernard? Bernard has said this 1,000 times on our text. Run the ball. Even if we don't necessarily get first downs or whatever, each running play takes about 40 seconds if you're actually playing the football game right. So that puts us at a disadvantage if we're out there passing or whatever, because that's how we end up with really short drives, 20, 30 seconds, and then the other team has more time to come back and get momentum and beat us. So I think that's the major problem that we got with the Bears right now.
Okay. You know what? And I was piggybacking on that as well, too. I was talking about this off camera about Bernard. Bernard said basically what it is you guys will realize that running the ball doesn't mean that you necessarily have to score. He's absolutely right. They were running the ball trying to score as opposed to just running the ball. You're running clock. Now you're allowing the defense to be stressed out, and they're going to give you opportunities to run the ball and score. And what happened? We had that 1 3 and out. It was only like 27 seconds. Playing this, you run the ball 40 plus seconds or whatever it is. If they ran the ball 3 times, that's about maybe a minute off the clock. But he loved that misery, I guess.
Yeah, that is so great point, Plank and Guy. You know, when you look at teams, you hear a statistic all the time that this team wins when they have these many yards running. But if you didn't watch those games, you think those many yards running mean they did that the whole game. Most of the time, it's because they're running in the fourth quarter because they're winning, right? And because they're winning in the fourth quarter, they're grinding it out, they're killing clock. And what you want to do when you're winning the game is you don't want the other team to get down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds and still have 3 timeouts because you are having 3 and outs. You want to start forcing that team to burn those timeouts.
Yep.
Right. So because the Bears got at one point, they got close to a 2-minute warning. And how do you have a drive that you are actually punting to the team and they got all 3 timeouts at that point? That's bad strategic planning and clock management of the game.
Well, you've even seen it in some cases, good, smart NFL coaches. It's in the fourth quarter. The team is up by 1 score, and they teach their players to run and stop before you get to the goal
line. Yep. You run the clock.
Because the clock is your enemy. If the other team gets the ball back and they score a quick touchdown, then get an onside kick or something silly like that, you have the opportunity of winning. Of losing as opposed to winning. If you just hold the doggone ball and let the clock continue to run. Worst case scenario, the other team, if they have any, has to use their timeouts, which still puts you in a good position.
Yeah.
Why our lifelong football coaches don't know some of this? It's actually kind of sad. And this week, Ryan Poles, the GM, said pretty much the same thing. He's expecting. He was all of this time. He expected the coaches to be more strategic and being able to teach the team game situations.
Yeah. Plank, I want to make a point, and I can't remember who the player was, and I want to, you know what, you know what, if y'all okay with this, the Bears won the game, and I'm happy they won. I want to talk about a few of the questionable negative things first, so that way the rest of the broadcast we could talk about the great things that happened for the victory, right? Because I don't want to sound like they lost, so I want to just kind of get rid of some of the negative things they might have done that could have cost them. When you are and the game is close, you want to minimize the distance, in my opinion, of the quarterback and running back exchange. You want to minimize the distance, right? So, because you don't want to take the risk of any type of pitch error or anything. Now, the Bears had a 3rd and 1. For the life of me, that had to be the dumbest play of the whole game. You pounded the ball. I mean, the left side of the field, Herbert is killing the left side of the field because they keep crashing down. He's bouncing around them. You decide to come and put Justin Field in motion and run a wildcat play on a 1-yard play that you've been killing them on. I think he was averaging 5.6 yards a carry. That made no sense. I just wanted to bring up that play.
That's a really good point, man. But let's see, Herbert. Yeah, he had 5.6 yards of play. But I've done a little homework and I've analyzed the Getsy technique as far as running plays. So what we're gonna do is, if you guys can kind of see this, you can't see it.
Let me zoom in on you, guy.
You can't see this. Okay, we're gonna use receivers, and what happens is this dot up here is right where you want to meet guys. So I'm gonna do this left hand. So this guy, what he does, he runs a curl. This guy runs a curl. This guy runs a curl. And this guy runs a curl. This guy in the middle, you're going to go all the way here. And if you don't, you're going to come back. Or you could do an end around. So basically what ends up happening is this is what you get. The finger. So, but
that's a play.
That's the Getsy play. So everybody's curling, and one guy goes to the focal point, and then he comes back and doesn't know what to do. But the point is, just like we were saying, I think a lot of times what happens, I think with Getsy, I don't even think it's a football issue. I think it's a narcissism issue. Number one, he thinks that he's doing something good. He's not. I don't think he's open for discussion from people telling him, just run the ball. No, well, you know what? If I do this 3 yards, now it opens up the running game. And when it goes wrong, he looks around for personnel to blame for doing something wrong. But that's all I got.
Okay. So,
it didn't make any sense on that particular play. We're talking 3rd and 1. We're running the ball well the whole game. He decides he wants to. First of all, you're right. That pitch backward, that exposes our team to too many opportunities for mistake. First of all, when you're pitching backwards, that's a live ball. That's a fumble. So let's say Herbert doesn't catch it clean, or anything happens. We had the opportunity to get a fumble return for a touchdown from something that we actually winning. Number 2, the play that he called ended up being, instead of running straight forward and giving your line an opportunity to push and your 220-pound running back an opportunity to get his head down and just run through some people, he had him running parallel to the line of scrimmage, which means you got to start running and you have to shift your body position in order to pick up yards. This is physics, and we limb bloom people, so we understand this. We're working against physics. It makes absolutely no sense. So the more stuff I saw, Getsy trying to do that pitch out, that in reverse, in around that he did to Velus Jones this week, idiotic. We're looking at the game as just common football fans, and we can call what these offensive plays are. There is absolutely no way that somebody's not a professional football coach or whatever should be able to diagnose everything that you're doing wrong.
Hey, Bernard, let me ask you a question from a running back standpoint. You're going to run some East plays that start out East. You're going to run West. Isn't always the onus is number one. You want to run the ball North-South almost all the time. And even if you're running East to West, it's only for just a couple steps, because I see these guys doing this East and doing this West. Now you're giving guys momentum, because what happens is they're closing the gap. But every time Herbert's running forward, he's killing.
Yeah, guy. That's a great question to point. In my opinion, these guys are fast in the NFL, so you really don't want to run stuff that's real far out wide. To me, if you run something off tackle, right, that's just something because you see something, or you got an advantage over that way, and you will maybe crashing down blocking. But the further you run out wide, if you notice in the NFL, you see a lot of like no yardage gain on those plays, right? Because it takes a lot to try to, it's not back in the day when you just kind of outrun guys, or the running backs were just that much faster. Because if you look at it, man, the running backs are not the fastest guys on the field no more, right? I mean, the defensive backs are faster than the running backs. I mean, maybe back in the day some of the running backs were fast, but a lot of these corners are running 4.3s, so you're not about to outrun them running East and West. But I did want to make another observation of watching their offense with Plank talking about prediction. Lemonhead, a former Chicago Bears player, has said on this program, study the coordinator. That's who you're playing against. I noticed this with the Bears. First quarter, the pass is always going to be a run on first. And there's going to be a pass on second and third. Regardless of what they get on first, there's always going to be a run on second and third. In the third quarter, I noticed the pattern changes. It's kind of like when you take a test at school, right? You get a teacher that's predictable, and you realize how many true, how many false.
CB. Okay.
Right. Correct. So I noticed in the third quarter in the Bears game, often the Bears actually now move it down one. They're going to maybe now pass on first, run on second, and depends on what the situation is, third. Okay, now the thing about when the Bears do that in the third quarter, I know they didn't score much, but 3 points is today's game third. But the Bears have been much better third quarter than they have been all season, and that's maybe because they're actually going off what they done in the first quarter was predictable, right? So when they get to the third quarter, they break that pattern a little bit, so they kind of move the ball more. But the Bears sometimes get lured into where they have leads like this. They start trying to be too cute.
Yeah.
Stop being cute. Win the game.
Our problem is no direction. I'm sorry, Plank. Go ahead.
They get into trying to run out the clock in the second quarter. And I'm like, dude, no matter what happens, you got 2 more quarters to play. You might as well continue being aggressive. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead, guy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I've said this many times. The problem with the Bears is we don't have like at least 3 bread and butter plays. No matter what happens, these are plays we're going to run and we're going to get yards. You ever notice in the first quarter, they did like a 3 and out, but like the first couple runs, they had some progression. You ought to look at that play. And why is it that the scripted plays seem like they work a little better? Because in their mind, they know they're going to run this and they're not thinking about anything else. Then you start doing this Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey circus stuff. Now you got people wondering what's going on. They're doing this crazy stuff. But like I said, what would help us immensely, even despite Getsy, if we had 3 or 4 bread and butter plays, like with the Patriots when they had Brady, they could be 4th and 4. They had that quick slant, and I would tell you about 99% of the time, they always move the ball for positive yardage and a first down. We don't have one play. You throw in a screen, somebody misses a block. What happened to the days where you would have guys getting pulled if they miss blocks? I mean, but it's just too much unpredictable football, man. It makes us disgruntled because we sit up looking at a win, looking at a lead, and the first thing the announcers talk about, the Bears lead the league in double-digit leads and losing games. I'm like, oh.
That's not good, fellas. Okay.
It's not.
So the Bears actually got 14 points in the second quarter today. I believe they had 7, because they went into halftime with 21 points. You know what? Man, I love the victory, But the way the Cardinals defense played, if the Bears offense was just better, regardless of why they bad or just average or below average to me, you should have had 40 points today or close to 40. It was just being inept or in bad play calling is why you had 27. So even though you look at the final score, if you didn't watch the game, 27 sounds great. But you know what I mean? It's just like in boxing, man. When you take that tune-up fight and you go the distance with a guy, the guy who got 5 wins and 30 losses.
30 losses, yeah.
With him, you know?
Drunken master will get you every time. I tell you.
Right.
Oh man. Because you paying attention to the bottle and not the throttle. Yeah, you paying attention to the bottle and not the throttle. You sit up here watch them do all that. He messing you up. You look at the bottles like, what is that? Is that effing vodka? Is that? Oh man.
No, so I thought the Bears played a good game. I'm glad we got the W. First quarter, we came out like gangbusters, throwing a cold commit. I'm gonna have to take the same premise that Dr. Mike Quick has been saying. He's starting to call Cole Kmet 7-11 because he's
always open. Yeah.
And apparently he's 100% right. Not only is he always open, but he always catches the ball too.
Yeah,
I want to give him credit for that. And I'm looking at him today. We're looking at his stats. I know he probably got over 100 yards. Just
104. 4 catches.
That's ridiculous.
Something like that. Yeah.
For a tight end, 53-yard catches. Cole Kmet is definitely earning his money. So I'm glad to be able to say that. He's a local guy. Good for him. And I hope we can continue to build off guys like him. I definitely say that he's a keeper. But, today he actually showed me something. It's too bad that he got hurt. I think that took away from some of the flow of the game as well. Because Robert Tonyan has already kind of proved that he's really maybe a serviceable tight end, but he's not giving us what Cole Kmet does.
He's a journeyman.
Yeah, you know what, Cole Kmet, man, he earned that contract. I mean, this year, I love what I see about Cole Kmet. I would like to see us run more plays to him that are designed to go to him, because I think some of the stuff he just happened to be open and we find him. But man, I think he could be that could be exploited because it's a hard matchup. He's a big guy. All thing Cole has to do to me is square his body up more when he catch the ball and start running. He has his body at an angle too much. That's why smaller guys could tackle him. I mean, it's almost like a running thing. It may be something where he had to work with the running back coach,
right?
Because when it's just math, physics, right? If you're turned sideways, you don't have enough momentum. So sometimes you are able to be tripped up by a little guy. But if Cole Kmet could get his body around faster and square up, he will actually probably run over a whole lot more guys because he's so much bigger. But man, I have no complaints about him. DJ Moore, Mooney. I'm almost just like, you know what? What's wrong with EQ? Because I'm almost like you could just go and let
he's
EQ.
Hurt.
He's hurt.
He's hurt. Okay.
You know what, man? Here's something I thought about, which is interesting. Even with his, I think, what did DJ have today? DJ had 18 yards today. Y'all know he's 70, he's 71 yards away from his all-time highs receiving. So it just lets you know, as bad as people think things are, and they're not really paying attention to him. This dude a dog, man. I was like pregnant pause, like, oh my God, he got hurt. And he came back and you could see he wasn't the same. But back to Kmet, the problem is this. He's thinking more of a fighter's mentality, because from a fighter's mentality, you want to kind of make your focal point smaller, so you turn it sideways. Just like you said, Bernard, if he's turning sideways, he's not square, so a guy can actually hit him and knock him off his square. But we can use him like in the same vein, and I'm not saying he's like him. He's like has the same moxie or whatever it is, but we can use him just like they use Gronkowski, man. Big target, great hands. He's gonna get you yards.
Yeah, I think you got a great point as far as Kmet and his positioning from a fighting standpoint. As a fighter, you want to make your target smaller. So you don't want to be as big a target. So instead of me standing straight up in front of him, I want to stand to the side. Smaller target. You want exactly the opposite if you're playing tight end, especially in the end zone. He wants to be able to square up and box people out and just get a quarterback a good target and put his hands up. What he's doing in the red zone is he's kind of shrinking, which makes it that much harder to see him. That's one of the things that what was the I can't remember the name of the tight end, Jimmy whatever, the big 6'7"
Jimmy
guy.
Graham.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham. That's what he was great at. He by the end of his career, he wasn't good at receiving or blocking or whatever. But you get him in the end zone, he would do basketball plays. He would box out the DBs. As a 6'6", 6'7" guy, as soon as he stands in front of you, most DBs are 5'11", maybe 6'1". They're not even close to his size. So again, we just talking basic physics. As soon as he boxing me out, I can't even see where the ball is anymore.
True.
Yeah.
So the more he learns to do that, the better he's going to end up getting. But that comes down to coaching, right?
Yeah. Because I know it's probably like football 101, and people are like, who are you to tell him how to run? But I'm just observation.
This is basic.
That's basic. Because think about this:
when you run a ball as a running back, you know why? You know how jukes work. A juke work if the person sees your whole body. See, the more of your body they see when you coming at them, it helps the juke work, right? Because you do this, they see all your body. If they only see half your body, the juke doesn't work. The juke is working because much of your body they see, if you're exposed to them, the more you could use head, arm, legs, all that to make that defender get off his point. He know what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be looking at you and get. But if he see too much, he started breaking his fundamentals and he goes for the head fake, or he goes for the leg shifting, or the head nodding, right, or the arms going this way. You know, that's what receivers use too. When
Dolphins
receivers
coach
get off the line well, those are the receivers who show the defender the most, right? They come up and they show the defender stuff, right? And they be able to use that. But if they come and they kind of not really square, anyway, that's just the football.
Well, I just want to add.
Great point. So when receivers are coming off the line, or when running backs are actually running with the ball, what they're trying to do is juke you. Why are they trying to juke you? Because they're trying to throw you off balance. If you're off balance, they're not even trying to run over you or whatever. They're simply trying to get you to change your body position so you can't get any push, any acceleration. So, you know, that's the basic 101, what's happening with Bernard being a running back. And that's a great point about the more of your body you see, the easier it is to juke. When I'm playing against Bernard, I'm trying to keep my eyes on his waist. That's it. I want to look at his waist. That's the only thing I'm doing. The biggest mistake that people used to make for Bernard ended up doing.
Yeah.
He gone.
Check this out, though. The Miami Dolphins coach, I saw this the other day, and I watched this, and my head just went like, phew. You know what he teaches his receivers? He has receivers doing film. Watch Allen Iverson doing a crossover. You'll see some of the receivers do just like this. And they're getting this thing. It's like, because your momentum, you're thinking this way. If I'm backpedaling as a cornerback and I do one of these, I'm either freezing you or making you lean to the side. So when I go this way, that means almost 1.5 or 2 seconds. I got to come over here, and I got you beat, man. Any type of angle that you can use to get an advantage on a play, I don't care what sport, go for it.
Okay. Right. Hey, let's look at this here. So today we had Justin Fields had 15 completions out of 27 attempts, passed for 170 yards. Can you double check this guy? Because
he's 15 to 27. He had 170 yards. Was averaging 6.3. He had a 2D and an interception. He got sacked only once with a 71.5 rating. And something that I mentioned about him too as well too. I know these people getting into this whole let's get us a quarterback and all this other stuff. Just imagine we're going to cars. Just imagine you got a dog on Aston Martin, and the person doesn't know how to deal with it, so they put an 87 octane in it. Excellent car, but it's running like this. But you want to get rid of the car. Why would I get rid of the car when all I got to do is put 93 octane in it and it runs better? What I'm trying to say with that, Justin Fields, to me, looks like he's not playing to make plays. He's playing not to make mistakes. And that's on the OC, because the OC puts you in a situation that as a quarterback, if you like, really, this is what you want to do? So a lot of times I see when Justin Fields makes mistakes, you may say, oh, he can't read defenses. No, because he's afraid. He looks and he sees a guy open for a second and he's like kind of pumping. I can make it. No, I don't know. Okay, somebody's coming. Change the offensive coordinator. Me personally, I'm not getting rid of Fields. I'm getting somebody in there that will probably walk in and has seen his film and look at him and say, you know what you do great is this. If I roll you out, I know you can get open. You got two options. You're either going to throw it or going to run it. So now you're going to always have to have a linebacker in a spy situation. Number two, if I run a play action, everybody freezing. I don't care where you at. So it goes right back into the marriage of running the ball. Justin Fields, instead of shotgun, I would rather see Justin Fields under the center, because you know why? He can run play action. He can run a play action every time, and they're going to bite because they scared he's going to run. And you can even say, he can even give it to the line of scrimmage and say, look, y'all, I'm going to snap this ball and I'm going to give it to Khalil. I guarantee you they still going to freeze because they don't know what he's going to do. They got a diamond in the rough and they don't know how to use this kid, man.
Yeah, hey, Jordan said he looked apprehensive.
He does.
You know what? He does. Now, I will say, at least he's not. Early this year, it was like he was thinking. Like looking at somebody literally like, are they open and should I throw it? So he's at least sped up that part of the clock. I do agree with you, guy, that he's playing to not make a mistake. And you got to just let yourself play. I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not out there and I'm not worried about a contract either. But so it's easy for me to say that. But I would say that today's performance was, other than the running was great. He made some great runs today. I think the passing was just okay. There was nothing. Yeah, it wasn't I thought the find a command on that one play was a nice throw. I know it's hampered a lot. Also, somebody mentioned about Mooney's. Oh, Mike Day mentioned about Mooney's confidence. Man, Mike, I'm gonna send you the link if you want to come on, Mike Day.
Yeah, man.
Come on the show. But Mooney confidence do look shot. I know, like, hey, Fred Brother Joe, like, he's just horrible. But hey, you are what you are in the season that you playing, right? What you did 2 years ago, to me, don't mean nothing in sports, right? Oh, it do mean something. It just means you have potential to play at that level. But in sports, you know what? When people get injuries, man, sometimes that's who they become, right? And you don't know, sometimes psychologically, some players never come over those injuries where other players just bounce back and they get back to that form. So
it ain't easy.
Does not really look like he's been ready all year. And unfortunately for him, I don't see the Bears offering him anything. Even if they offer him something, I can't see him taking it because it would have to be very low because his production is pretty much mute.
But you're right.
Contract or whatever. But, my issue with today, Cole Kmet showed that he's a dog, and we already talked about that today. DJ Moore, unfortunately, got hurt maybe the second play of the game and hurt to the point where he had to come out of the game. They had to rewrap his ankle, and he ended up toughing it out and still coming out there. Now, he wasn't as effective as he could have been because of the injury, but the fact that he was still on the field
decoy
and gave Justin Fields at least a target to go through.
True.
Darnell Mooney, my concern with them, and all of this I'm mentioning this because it affects the quarterback. These are the people he's trying to throw the ball to. Darnell Mooney never looks like he's ready to catch the ball. There was one play over on I think it was on the left hashtag, where the ball actually hit him in the chest. As a receiver that's worked so much on the jugs machine and other things like that, he should go out and be using his hands to kind of stab the ball and go to it as opposed to waiting for the ball to get in his chest.
Right.
Receiver 101. So every pass I'm watching with Mooney looks like, for whatever reason, it's going to be a difficult catch. And some of that should not be that way. So I'm not sure what's going on with him and Justin Fields' chemistry. Maybe he didn't meld it in or whatever, but That's what's causing offense not necessarily look good at all. And keep in mind, we were working against the 31st
Ranked
defense
defense in the
in the
league.
NFL. There's only 32 teams.
Hey, you know what though? Here's another thing that I was looking at with Mooney. You ever hear see them players like a Deion Sanders that just talk trash? I'm gonna do this, but they thrive off that, and it makes them better. I think what happened with Mooney, you get injured. Now you know you got a contract year coming up real soon. Okay, look, I'm a better receiver, and I know I deserve this money. Look, I need this money. Okay, fine. Let's see what you can do. Now there's the pressure. And you think it's so much more about what? Not making mistakes. You forget the fundamentals. You forget what got you there. Sometimes in instances like what Mooney's in right now, it's almost even better if you didn't have the talent and you weren't as much of a talent, because you know why? Most of them guys, you can look at any sport. Those guys who don't really have the talent, they play hard. You sit them on the bench, they're like, okay, I'm sitting down, but guess what, coach? I'm going to be ready. And that's their mentality. And every time they come in, they play. But with the guys who are a little more of a high profile, like an instance like with a Mooney, they get butthurt about sitting. And then you get into a situation where, oh, you're trying to do the most. Like that one play where they threw the ball to him and they were like, look, you should have stuck your hands out, come back to the ball. He's standing there and the defender sticks his hands in. That's wide receiver 101. So you've done everything that you can. You were talking about you want another contract, but now you looking like this. Kroger's.
Yeah. Hey, what you got, Bakari?
What's up, Bakari?
Good to see you, Bakari. What's up, bro?
Uh-oh, he froze.
Man, he done froze, man. Mooney got her, man.
You look bad.
You look like Mooney right now. You know what, though? The interesting thing about Mooney and players that are in that contract year, too many players worry about having the job and not enough about doing the job.
Or keeping
my job, if I don't do my job every week, I'm gonna get fired. So I ain't got to worry about there's no contract and none of that stuff. If they don't think I provide value, eventually they're gonna get rid of me. So I got to worry about doing the job every day, not what's my next contract gonna look like. Don't worry about that. Do the job, and you'll continue to have a job until they decide to retire you or whatever, and you can always go somewhere else.
Hey, that was Tammy, man.
Add you back in, Bakari. Okay.
Hey, that was Tammy. That Russo Productions. Put that back in, man. That was interesting.
No. I disagree, Tammy. I think it's time for Mooney to seek greener pastures, and the proof in the pudding will be what other teams offer him for his services. A lot of times, as Bears fans, we think, this is all for the Bears. It's not. It's the entire NFL basically sets the market for what your value is worth. Based on the year that he just did today, this year, he hasn't proven that he's overcome that injury, whether it's physical, mental, or whatever, which means he hasn't proven that he's all in to do this job as a professional wide receiver.
Yeah. You know what? And I understand the point Tammy making. You know who? See, NFL players definitely have to stay away from performance-based contracts, even though there are performance-based markers. I'm gonna tell you a person who made that mistake and it cost them. Kaepernick.
Sure did.
Kaepernick contract was, if I remember correctly, it was done by what's the guy's name? That dude Percy. What's his real rap name?
Are you talking about Master P?
Master P. No,
Percy Miller.
Did his contract.
Oh my God.
I'm calling him Percy because Percy pop man. They did his contract. That was the first NFL player that they did a contract for. His contract was $100 and some million, but over 75% of his contract was performance based. So when they decided to put him on an active and not play him, like coming into the last year, they didn't really owe him that much because so much of it was performance based. And that's why they was able to say, San Francisco, we're just gonna part ways with you this year, if you want to go to the team, because there's too much of it was performance based, so players the union have to even guard players against that, right? Because I remember back in the day, it was complaints that when Gruden was with Yeah, when he was with Tampa, Keyshawn Johnson were accusing him of getting back at them because he knew their contract, because he had negotiated their contracts. And when he was getting mad at him, he started saying, hey, Gruden is not letting balls being thrown to me because he doesn't want me to reach his market. May not be true, but you allow the perception to exist when you have that much contract base. Okay, look like we got Bakari back. Hey, what's happening,
bro? Brother?
Hey, Christmas.
Oh, yeah, same to you. What you got on the offense today?
I get an offense. Okay.
No grades yet. We just talking about what you saw.
Okay, no grades. I think when Cole Kmet went down, I mean, he went down, and DJ Moore, I just saw a lot of grit, you know. I saw something unique, though. I want to say this, like, okay, normally what happened is, or it's been happening, it happened before when they had the lead. Let's say Justin throw that untimely interception, the defense give up a touchdown, which they did, right? But instead of them going instantly 3 and out, they did close out the game. They went down there and closed out the game on that tough down. They threw it. I was so surprised because we was in field goal range. They threw it to DJ and got that first down. That to me was clutch, you know, going after it. I thought you were just running for the 2 yards and 3 yards, right? Why risk a pass right there? We was in field goal range and they did that. So I was very surprised. And I think it was I don't want to say setup, but it was a test. And when I said test, they wanted to see if Justin could make that play in the clutch, because they did not have to throw it, right? They could have just ran it and tried to kick the field goal well in Santos's range right there, if I'm not mistaken. But they threw it to get that first down and get closer. So I think they was like, hey, we need to see more of what we got in him. And Justin did not hesitate. He ripped it to DJ. And DJ caught it and got that first down. So we saw it one time before. We saw it on Monday night on the Amazon game, right? Where he threw it and DJ got it. That's the last time we seen him go get it to kind of like win the game. Not to say defense didn't close out the game, because they certainly did. But what I'm trying to say is at that moment, I think that was another milestone, stepping stone, because if they get that ball back, which they did with no time on the clock, it didn't mean anything. But I think that was a growth step for the offense, not having its weapons at 100%. And that's
you know, that play, you know what? That play is fine at the beginning of the season, but I think at this time of the season, you're risking something for some milestone. It's not about milestones at this point, in my opinion. It's about getting these wins and keeping your team confident. But hey, anyway, what Tammy said about Kmet, that's funny.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Other thing I'm laughing about this. That was his second year in the league, and he was not showing none. He wasn't showing much. He was not getting touchdowns. He was around 30-some catches. If he was still playing like that now, I would be really concerned about Kmet, because he's 4 years into the league, still averaging 30-some catches. See, that's why it's concerning about Mooney. Mooney is a guy that had 1,000 yards catching 2 seasons ago. Now he's a guy that what Mooney has, maybe 300 yards.
If that.
And last year he made some mistakes, and then you got to look at his role change, and so you wonder, is he's like Mike had put the other Mike Patterson. Is he's like the child that's crying that there's a newborn in the house, right?
It don't make no sense because he's dropping dots. He's dropping dots, though. He's dropping passes like in his hand, hit him in the chest. Justin hit him in the chest. And Justin like, man, he's messing up my stats, man. Where DJ? Where Kmet? Because he hitting them. He hitting them and he's dropping them. I'm worried about Mooney.
But see, here's a deal too. If you're a stud, now we gonna give DJ a pass, because DJ, for all intents and purposes, most receivers would have left the game. He did a great thing by coming back, because one, he became a decoy, because they're like, yeah, his ankle broke, but dude got over that. He got 1,100 yards. We still watching him. Mooney has 6 targets, 2 catches, 5 yards. That's the guy that wants the contract. So when you look at stuff, but when you talk about the whole thing with that catch, if that. Yeah, that's that Limbo math with an F. But you know what? But the thing is with Getsy, like I said, talk about Mr. Magoo, his name is Mr. McGetsy, because in spite of himself doing something stupid, it still worked. But when he tries to do something right, it
right. But yeah, Tammy, we
Tammy,
agree with you. I don't think nobody ever said Mooney Komet couldn't play. We was just making an evaluation of where he was at that time. And I think that sometimes too that it's okay to make evaluation of players where they at that time, right? Because if you don't make an evaluation, you can't measure their progress, right? Are they progressing? So I'm just not one to exaggerate performances, right? If a person's performing at a C, I don't believe in giving a trophy just to, look, they professionals. They just got to perform up to the level.
But now we got to be careful. Tammy be right because Carlos Santos just got paid, man. We got to.
Like he was supposed to.
That criticism was warranted. It was warranted last year. It wasn't. He was missing extra points.
He was
right. And so whatever the problem was, he fixed it. That's all we were saying.
Hey, he should be thanking us. He should be thanking us.
He should.
Y'all gonna get smacked for best. Tammy just got married. Her Santos Claus got married because she got rid of your boy Bill Laser. She just dropped him like a bad habit. But with a player like Santos, man, a lot of it is technique and timing. It's a certain mechanism that you use every time, and it doesn't work. What I can respect him for is most players, when they go into a slump like that, they try different stuff. People ask them to try something different. That's not what you want to do because now you become a head case because when that don't work, you don't know. Just if you're missing, just keep doing it the same way and it's going to happen. Now look at him. He lights out.
Yeah, because, a good example, George Pickens. Did y'all see George Pickens? I'm sorry, I'm off topic.
I did.
Yeah. George Pickens is a hell of a receiver.
Yeah.
What George Pickens was doing in that game last week was unacceptable. It was times in that game where he literally was like, oh, the ball didn't come to me. He's throwing his hands up. I'm not going to block that guy. Guess what?
Right.
That was something that was being led up to that Mike T had not checked. He was allowing him to slowly get to that point because he had been a jerk all year. And at the end of the last year, he was doing stuff that Mike T. See, you can't just let players just because they're productive. I'm going to let them do what they want to do. So eventually when it ain't going their way, wide receivers are divas. And then now it goes to yesterday he had a hell of a game. Why? Because Mike T finally got off in his butt. And now yesterday you like, damn, that's the Pickens that you're supposed to see. But if you just be like, well, he gets 10 catches for us, we won't say nothing from him. And guess who you have then? Antonio Brown on your hands.
Yeah, I was going to say Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
And he'd be the closest one, and sometimes T.O.
T.O. was a diva divas.
Y'all got great.
As talk show personalities, we evaluate and comment on what we see.
Yep.
Not what we want to see, not what we want it to be, not even what we saw last year, because every year is a different year. If I'm out there and I'm not performing my job, that's the only thing I'm going to be evaluated on. You didn't do well enough. You need to do better. And that's fair. It's not fair to say, well, 2 years ago, you were employee of the year, so we're going to keep you around and we're going to continue to pay you at this high rate because of work that you already did. That's not how employment works. And that's not how it should work in the NFL either. When we start talking about players that aren't performing well, do we have data and statistics to back it up? I would argue that we do. I would argue directly with as Bakari. I think we are highly responsible for Santos getting more money. Right? When he wasn't playing what he should. We just pointed out. Wait a minute, this guy's.
Well, we all saw the same thing. I'm just saying, Tammy was right that he still had it in him. She believed in him. We were talking. He still had it, and they did call in another kicker, and Santos beat that dude out. But
see that's actually the point I said. I said they need to bring somebody in just to compete with him to make him do his job.
Yep.
See, so NFL players, what happens so often is they don't have to compete. And then once stuff starts going off the rail, right, we kind of evaluate to what they used to be. And sometimes that competition, I'm telling you, man, is we all competitive. We all ex-athletes. Right. Look, It ain't nothing worse than thinking a bomb is about to beat me out. They think
right.
this bomb is
But you said something prolific, which is important. Like us, we think like that. This
right.
business, new athlete is completely different. Back in the day, to make a guy, if a guy wasn't doing all that good and you knew as a coach, you know he's way better than this. But you know what? I'm gonna bring some competition and put some fire in his butt. And guess what? That player usually always rises to the occasion and gets better. But now you got another guy that's a backup that could be an understudy. Nowadays, you do that. You know what the diva does? End of the season, I want y'all to trade me. I ain't gonna even play no more. It's like guys getting their feelings. It ain't even like that no more. It used to be cool where you would bring somebody else in, but now you bring somebody else in instead of them seeing it as, okay, we know you could do better, but guess what? If you don't, I got another guy. You look at it as, oh, that's just the ultimate disrespect. And then they just shut down, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, hey, one of the Facebook users, I'm sorry, not Facebook, YouTube users said, it almost feels like we lost this game. You know, it's weird.
It sure does. It does.
That's a great observation.
It does.
Because I win is a win, but it almost feel like,
it'll feel better later in the week.
When you could have just, when you fighting against the guy who's only won 5 fights and lost 30, and you rank higher than them, but you end up going to the distance with them.
Right. That's a perfect analogy.
I let him go to the distance. I could have knocked him out so many times, but I didn't. And I guess this game feels like that, right? This was just a team. Their defense was awful. Their defense was just awful.
That's just like you said, like when you get blown out, it's like, you know what? I'd rather get blown out than lose a close game. Because if you get blown out, you know we suck today. It's like, okay, it is what it is. We're going to play this game out. We're going to do our thing and just be able to mentally just move on. But when you that close and something that you did in the first quarter or the most minute play that you did that you screwed up as a result of you losing, those are the ones that are hard. But in a game like this, man, despite of all the stuff we did, in spite of it, we won. That's a one moral victory. But the other thing you got to look at is, like you said, we just beat the 31st ranked defense in the league.
Okay,
I think it's more like, okay, I think it's just more like incremental measurements because, see, they beat Minnesota and Detroit, right? Mm-hmm. So we seen them handle Detroit, right? So we okay, we are better than Detroit. We not better than Detroit. We beat Detroit and we were better than Detroit that day. But the key marker is that, like, okay, this field, if you take away 2 of our weapons, we look very, very suspect with that play call and being bipolar, the guess he has. So, you know, so I just think we should celebrate. And I think it would look better later in the week when we watch it, when we sit down and rewatch it. Because I always look at the tape, and that's always telling me what really, really happened. But if we watch it a little different, we may feel a little better about it. Because if you just slow it down, just a little. You're right. How can we be close to them? I go to other stations and listen to other fan bases, and you should hear the Cardinals, man. They're like, how could they lose to us? You know, like
how not?
They are projecting everything that we're gonna do, and I'm kind of like, the Bears D is like up there. They're like 1 and 2. They're not even close, but they're just like, Justin Fields is not good and all this stuff. I'm like, Justin don't need a lot of plays to beat you, man. That's what makes Justin special. He don't need but 150 yards and some run, and he'll get a W. That's who he is. You know, he don't need 300 yards sometimes. You know, I mean, the national media don't like it. It don't look good on the stat sheet. But when he busts one for 30 yards and he got to get it called back, and then he come back and hit you for a dot, you just like, high lose. So that's just, you know, he's going to throw you a pick or a fumble in the fourth quarter. He's going to do that, man.
Did y'all have grades for the offense? What you got playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Offense, I actually gave them a B- today. Only because they controlled the line of scrimmage. They controlled the ball. They ran the ball really well. Now, they didn't do enough of the efficiency things, which is why their grade isn't higher. If you think about it, in the second quarter, and I started commenting on that, in the 2-minute drill in the second quarter, there's a way that you run that where you are trying, the first play you're trying to get positive yards so you can start getting momentum. We had 2 minutes left. We had the ball, and we had 2 timeouts. We had actually 3 timeouts, I think. That is an eternity in the NFL. So there was no reason we should have been in a rush to get anywhere. We had our entire offense open, and unfortunately, Getsy went out there and started trying to throw the ball, and we're not going to get into that again, where we ended up not using enough time. So potentially we could have gave the ball right back to Arizona. They could have scored at the second quarter, and then they were getting the ball back at halftime. So I was concerned about that. I don't want my heart to have to go through that kind of stuff. So that's why they got a B+, maybe B-. That's probably
B-.
more
Okay.
accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Jay? I see Jay,
What's up, Jay?
out of the game.
What's up, Jay?
Terrible play call in the third quarter. Bring up the play call. You know what? I'm going to give their offense a C+ on steroids, despite it all, because see, my grades, my abysmal grades for offense as far as coaches are concerned, because you know what, you can only do, you don't have the autonomy of being a quarterback and be able to call your own plays and changing plays and stuff. You're really more so under the tutelage of the offensive coordinator. So they did whatever they had to do. They did what they could as best as they could with the plays that they had. And with Khalil Herbert doing his thing, I can't give them nothing. I mean, I can't give them anything low, but I don't think and because of a combination of everything, that's why I couldn't give them a B-. So I give them a C+ on steroids.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give them a C+. I thought it was just average performance. They was good on the ground. They wasn't really that sharp in the air. Play calling wasn't really that great. But still a C+.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What you got, Bakari?
We did get 5 scores. So,
Hey, what's the fullback for the Bears? What's his name?
Blasingame.
Yeah.
He was playing right when he was leading them block, man. He was killing it, man. That I don't know why we just didn't run that down. They throat the rest of the game. They couldn't stop it. It's pretty obvious to me they couldn't. And then he did it with Justin too. I was like, look at Getsy. Oh, run the fullback in front of the running back and the Justin. That's a 3-headed monster. You see what I'm saying? He could block too. So I would give the offense like a B-. And I'm giving them that because I know how limited they are, and they normally would have folded, and they did not totally collapse after a mistake by their quarterback. And I just see that as a improvement. And now I'm not saying that they were elite, but I'm giving it to them despite Getsy's trickery in the final seconds for short yardage and all that kind of stuff. I did see more aggressiveness even by Getsy, trying to get that ball downfield. Now, Justin throwing that 50-yard box, that was all Justin to Cole Kmet because the play was broken. So past that, I'm thinking a B-.
Yeah, Tammy said Khalil Herbert had a real good game. She gave the Bears. Hold on, I saw a grade from her, a B- from Tammy.
Okay.
For the offense. Yeah, Khalil Herbert looked more healthy running the ball today. You know who I'm starting to be a little concerned about? I thought I would see more from is Johnson.
The rookie.
He sometimes does seem like he's not really running with authority at times. I don't know.
I think that concussion he had, right?
That's not the concussion.
Yeah.
He may still be concussed. So yeah,
he may.
Okay, Jay gave the offense a C-. Hey, let's get over to the best side of the team, which is the defense. Man, what did y'all see out of the defense? Hey, the defense is the best part of this team. You know that play.
See, this is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't have to go first, so go right ahead, guy.
Okay.
Now I get a defense of B-, and I can tell you right now, Kyle Fuller is like the silent savior. We don't really pay attention to him, and you start looking at games like this dude is all over the place. This dude is like the kind of guy that just sit right in the gaps like this, and as soon as the ball comes his way, he's trying to murder folks. I know we could. Another reason why I gave a B-. Did they hang like a 25 piece on San Francisco last week or 20 something piece? And they were able
on the rundown,
and they were able to hold them down. They held them down. So defense did what they do, and they played pretty consistent. So I'll give them a B-, man.
Kyler Gordon.
Kyler Gordon, that's what I meant, not Kyle Fuller. Kyler Gordon, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. You know what? You hold a team to 16 points, and Kyler Murray is no good by stretch of the imagination. I think they're gonna have to eat that contract, if you ask me. But I still give this defense an A because they got after the the run. They got after the quarterback. They made stops when they need to, and like I said, if you're only giving up 16 points, that's A work to me.
I got you.
I gave the defense a B plus.
B+.
They ended up with 2 sacks. I think it was 5 tackles for loss. They controlled the line of scrimmage. Those DBs did a pretty good job. In the NFL, the other team gets paid too. The other teams has talent too. They have millionaires as well. So it's not a valid expectation that every game is going to be a shutout. So we can't necessarily judge on that. We didn't get any picks today or whatever, but we played good fundamental defense. And for the most part, that was able to at least get us a W. One of the things I was worried about last year, they kept talking about how we were close all of these games. We were probably close because the coaches were choking last year too. So some of the traits that we're seeing now, the Bears are in every game, but we're on the losing side of that. And it's the same variable. These coaches, I'm going to give them a terrible game, but the defense, I give them a B plus.
Okay, Jay gave him a B plus.
Wait, Jay gave the defense a B plus?
Yep,
What's
Jay
wrong
gave
with Jay, man?
Hey, quick gave the defense a B. Tammy gave the defense a B minus. I'm usually the one that's hard on the defense, man. I guess I'm the one being liberal today.
I want to give the defense. I'm gonna give the defense a A because, and I'm gonna give them an A because I saw a game without turnovers and they still held them to 17 points. And to me, that's pure defense. Point. That means you stopping that run because they were checking down to the middle, and I thought they was getting gashed, but they didn't break. So. They did a pretty good. They got a lot of pressure when they needed to. So I'm gonna give them an A because I think that defense you can win with that defense against any quarterback, even without turnovers. Now we've just been used to all them turnovers, so we might be kind of spoiled.
Yeah.
If the 49ers had our defense right now, they'd be telling them like, you know what, just get that trophy and just engrave it for us.
Oh yeah, they'd be in the Super Bowl. They going to Super Bowl, Baltimore. I think Baltimore that game. Oh man, that game.
The Bears defense. The Bears defense have 18 interceptions. They're second in the league in interceptions.
Who first?
I don't know who's first. It might be.
If they got a guy with 6 pick sixes, I would imagine that's got to be up.
Whoever that is, yeah.
Hey, how many drops we got? We probably got the lead. All the drops in
right.
Yeah.
Lying, man, by at least 5 this year.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's a good performance. So hey, we got some of those grades, and hey, special teams. They did what they're supposed to do. Yeah, they're supposed to do. So it's just, I guess it's an A for me because they did what they're supposed to do.
Well, I was a little bit more stringent there. Special teams, I gave them a B plus. You know what? Not even a B plus. I'm gonna give them a B. Santos got a new contract. Yay! I'm excited for the guy. He kicked 2 field goals. Good job. Trent Gill boomed a punt, 72 yards at a point in the game when we really needed field position. So that was good. At the same time, we had one play where the punt return or the punt team ended up stepping out of bounds and getting us a penalty at a really important point of the game that could have cost us more. And they had a 40-yard return on the first.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So I moved him down to B. Yeah.
I give him a B.
There we go.
I give him a B too, man. Special teams, like I said, Santos is the dude. He did his thing. Couple things that we made, but we did enough. We didn't do anything to really harm us as much. So I give him a B.
Man, I'm grading on the curve. I give him an A minus. Because Santos was clutch. My new Uncle Santos, he was clutch. and then that kick that dropped in at 10, man, that was murder, man. That was that was ice that they dropped it in the game. So I'm not really worried about the field goal. The punt return yardage because the defense was just so lights out right there. But that's just my idea of a grade.
Yeah, because even on that play where Plank mentioned about the guy going out of bounds, they ended up doing a re-kick, and he still boomed the ball. So I had to give him credit, because usually team make you re-kick it because they hoping they could get a good return out of that, right? Because now you re-kicking, and the cover team may be a little exhausted from running down there, but he still boomed the ball back there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that ended up being a good draft pick, because Gill was one of the draft picks from last year by poll. Mm-hmm. So he's I mean, he's done so well. I can't even remember the previous partner name now.
Yeah.
O'Donnell, maybe.
O'Donnell, that's what it was. O'Donnell.
Wow. Okay. We lost to the Raiders like that one time. They got a good punter, don't they? Like they got a good. Maybe that was last season. They got a really serious punter or kicker. When you got that punter, you can control that field position, man. That's kind of huge if you can place that ball between the 20 and back. You know, that's a lot of stuff right there. So
yeah.
Remember Sebastian?
Since Ray Guy, man, get out.
No, remember Christian. Hey, remember Christian Janikowski? You could put that ball on the 2-yard line and kick off. He could kick it through the field goal.
That dude was eating all of his winnings though,
and drinking it.
Yeah, a few years ago, the Raiders actually had a brother that was back there punting. Man.
Yeah, they did.
He'll be back there dancing.
And that was the dude that was kicking the ball. He was kicking it far and high. It was like,
hey,
man,
I wanted to just mention to people, and we were talking about this ahead of the, off the screen. We got to talking about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is a Lincoln Riley quarterback. So who else is a Lincoln Riley quarterback? Jalen Hurts was, Baker Mayfield, and Caleb Williams is now a Lincoln Riley quarterback. Be careful when everybody's talking about the Bears need to draft this guy in order to replace Justin Fields. A lot of what you saw today from Kyler Murray is probably what you're going to see from Caleb Williams next year. So be careful of what you're asking for.
I know we.
You know what? There was what was that coach name? He was Steve Spurrier. Okay.
Yep.
Steve Spurrier used to produce a lot of great college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But he didn't produce NFL quarterbacks, right?
Bobby Knight of football.
They would be killing it in college, the Steve Spurrier quarterbacks. But once they got the pros, they were not. So I guess the thing would say like a Lincoln Riley quarterback, he's good for quarterbacks in college. I don't know if it's translating to the pros because he doesn't have product that has proven that what he does work in the NFL. But it's great for college because you don't have to develop a quarterback for college. You actually just trying to get that program to win, I guess, in reality, right? So
he's had 3 of the last 6 Heisman Trophy winners as his quarterbacks.
But
let's think about that.
And that usually goes down to most of those guys. They'll end up doing a lot of picks and all that stuff because they don't adjust to the speed of the game. They can hit all types of receivers everywhere, but then you got that lurk in the cornerback that you think you wide open, and now you like thinking twice, like, okay, let me pump fake. Oh, he's not there. Let me throw it, or I'm interception. But like I say, Spurrier was the Bobby Knight of football because Bobby Knight used to have some great college players. They come to the pros outside Isaiah Thomas, I think, and maybe one other player.
Don't say Ken Benson.
Oh, okay, sorry. No. Hey, but you know what? Something else I want to say about
Plank before we wrap up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think he was finished. That's what I said that.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay. So, hey, as far as coaches, the coaching performance overall, I mean, anybody got any grade for the coaching of this game?
Okay. Flus gets an A because I'm gonna give him a joint score from where I'm giving him a joint score because basically I'm doing more the defensive side. But really, I would say I give Flus maybe a B-. I give Getsy that
finger. Okay.
Defense, I'd have to give a B. Special teams, I give a B. I'm only giving Flus a good grade because I'm actually kind of like grading him on a curve with the actual defensive side. But that's why I put Getsy in there because I'm trying to separate the two. If we put Getsy in as far as the head part in the offense, it's like a D-. It's that bad because because Getsy's getting the finger.
Yeah, Flutes. I'm gonna give him a C. I think he did enough for us to win, but a lot of his footprint was on the game. You saw a lot of decisions that were really questionable, and it's gotten to the point where Ryan Poles is starting to take notice of that. He's going to make the ultimate decision on whether or not Flus continues to be the Bears coach. Flus is currently in self-preservation mode, where he's looking to give sacrificial lamb. And the unfortunate thing about it is he's using Getsy as his sacrificial lamb. He can't do that because he's the guy that actually hired Getsy. So whatever his flaws are, Getsy, the same flaws that Alan Williams had, the same flaws that other coach. Remember, we didn't have 2 coaches that ended up being fired by HR this year. All of that is on Flus's strategy. He's not an NFL strategic coach, and I think he's a good man, for all indications are, but I don't think he can take our team to the next level. So I'm looking forward to seeing Flus get the exit for a more high-profile, more proven coach.
Yeah, I think offensive coach, a D. It was really not. It was, as far as coaching, the players made some plays that was not on the script. Like Justin Fields running and rolling out and a couple of off-script throws. Those were not the plays that were called. It was just an individual effort. Head coach Flus, I give Flus. Man, I really like a C+. The defense played well, but I thought his coaching, same thing. You only got used one timeout at halftime because it was an injury timeout. Still the same thing. At some point, you either got to tell your offensive coordinator near the end of the game that he's not managing the game, right? We don't have to know that, but what we shouldn't be doing is saying the same thing from week to week, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that makes me show that you're not holding him accountable. Same special teams, I guess, they did what they did. So I say a B, just like I gave the rest of them.
Yeah.
I give Flus like I give Flus a C. Not because the defense I don't think is meshing. I give him a C because he got a bad habit of going after mobile quarterbacks or on down and distance between 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. He'll go after them when you only need, and he'd be bringing and they check down to the dynamic running backs. And I just don't know why you don't see that. Why you don't see that he's gonna check down and float out that dynamic running back, so you don't have to call that right there. We can go in the zone or what have you. So I don't know why he does. You can show blitz, but I don't know why he does that. So I'm kind of like giving him that. I give Getsy like a D because still. Getsy calls the game to me not to Justin's strength all the time. It's like he's trying to show his play. Justin don't hit it, and then he'll call a play to Justin's strength, like a run play or a rollout or something like that. Now, some plays I saw something open where Justin could have hit the high man in the rollout. I mean, not the rollout, but he stepped back and he could have hit him, but he already threw it. That was the interception at the end. But he got pressed. So to me, that's not Justin's strength in the red zone. His strength in the red zone, you either put him on the center and you go play action, or his strength in the red zone is to run him, right? But you need a lot of movement with Justin. You can't just have him sit back there and read in the red zone all day and be surprised that he makes a poor read. So that's just Getsy fighting, showing what he did. So I'm gonna special teams. They did, I'm gonna give them like a B. Special team coaches. I don't really have a problem with them like that.
That's a great point, man. That's a really great point. So now I got to change my Flus grade to a C. Because I didn't even think about that, though, man. You made me think about it. That's a really good point.
If you look at it, that's how we lost that game, right? He went after Flacco. And we have to. It was 3rd and 18 or 15. And all we had to do was drop into zone, and we would have got the big dude, the tight end, that went and broke it for all day long. We didn't have to go after him.
It's
either hit or miss. We was up. We didn't have to go after him. I mean, I beat people on on Madden on that all day.
Oh, man.
It would have helped if we wouldn't have had a 340-pound defensive lineman trying to guard a tight end. I have no idea.
He just checked out into it because he wasn't supposed to. He just checked back if he saw him floating. He just went back there, So he does that a lot. I want y'all to watch that again when he's going after them real good because he got Montez Sweat. And when he got those dynamic running backs or tight ends, and we 3rd and 15 or 18, Fluke's gonna go after him still, and he don't have to. He can just keep everything in front. He was a little bit more disciplined for a little while, but late in the game, he started doing it again and doing it again.
Your boy got the meat sweats, huh?
Yeah, man. They be burning us too for 40, 30, 20.
Man, but that juke.
That's funny. Earlier in the year, he wasn't going after nobody, right? And
right,
now
he got players win, right?
Get on their own, right? But you know what? You just got to find a happy media as a coach, right? And you, so you know what? I still say this all the time is, professional players and coaches always say they turn the noise out. They lying. They listen to everything that people say, and they pretend like they tune all the stuff out. They listen to the stuff, and he has to. I think Tammy made a great point that he needed somebody to help him
mentor him
on how to be a head coach. But I think right. I really didn't want to get into this into the last show, but I just mentioned I don't think he's coming back. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look like it because I think you got a lot of great defensive coordinators out there. The defensive coordinators that's good ain't hard to find.
They sure.
And it's a lot of defensive coordinators who are head coaches.
Issue, right?
Correct.
I think Fluke's coming back for sure. I think he's coming back. I think they're gonna play him out now. Getsy. He may not be coming back, but I think Flus is coming back because the defense has showed up so big that I don't think Poles will want to kind of like rock the boat with a whole new scheme, of course. Even if you run the same scheme, you got to get these guys to buy him. So whatever Flus, that's just agreed. Flus is not a head coach. What is he? A good defensive coach, right? So if he's a good defensive coach, I just think Poles will just stay safe. That's just me, though. I just think he'll stay safe.
Let's keep in mind that this year we have gone through 3 historic losses in the NFL. So never seen before that a team had 21-point lead in the fourth quarter and ended up losing in regulation. Never before in the history of the NFL, 100 and some years, has a team been up by 2 scores with 4 minutes left and lost by almost double digits at the end of regulation. Never before have we done things like what happened in Cleveland last week. So it's not just embarrassing. These are things that don't happen in the history of the NFL. And all of them are attributed to a coach who has won 10 games and lost 30. I don't see him coming back, man. I'm sorry.
I want to respond to that, counselor. What I would say, and what I would defend myself if I was Flus with, like, you saw what I did with just one piece with Montez Sweat, right? Just one piece. I do not have my full complement, and look what they're at. They're at the number 2 or number 1 defense in the NFL. Let me finish my rebuild. And I will show you the finish line. And that's what I would do.
That's a great point.
Edmonds. He got the draft, the defensive, the DBs. That is not a valid excuse anymore. That I don't have the talent to actually win, because the guys that are actually playing on defense are really doing well. Even these rookies are actually showing up pretty well. So he did get Montez Sweat, but again, that's more attributed to Ryan Poles than that is Eberflus. Poles gets the talent. Eberflus coaches whoever shows up. That's his job. So if they don't know what to do, that's not on Poles. That's on Eberflus.
Yeah, one thing I would say about general managers, when general managers want to keep their job, you know what they do? Fire people.
Fire everybody.
you don't bring people back. Yeah, you fire everybody. I mean, that's really when the general manager fire somebody, that buy them more time, right? And even though you can say they hired that person, right? Hey, everybody
didn't work in San Diego.
No, but
You can't give up a 60
the Bears have to dare to be great. They have to dare to be great. They can't see what's gotten the Bears in this situation all these years is mediocrity, right? You get in love with being safe, keeping things the same. Guess what that got the Bears? One Super Bowl, right? So eventually somebody has to dare to be great and make those changes that are needed, whatever those changes be, right? I'd rather get fired trying to make those changes than just to stay with the same status quo. That's me, but I don't know what the Bears family gonna do.
You know what though? But it looks like they actually letting Kevin Warren ball out. And I got a feeling that Warren has got something to do with it. Getsy is already gone. His stuff is packed. Because for what I've seen in different places that Warren's gone to, he's gotten like head coach, like the head coaches that he's gotten guys that have experience. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you right now, my problem with the Bears organization is they always go on emotion. Emotional people don't win you games. It's people who are knowledgeable. You know, you get some guys in there. I'm not saying Belichick. See, Belichick for me in my eyes coming to the Bears would be a bad thing because he's won. So he's a narcissist. And his whole thing is, I've won 5 Super Bowls. And I think he would even do worse than do worse than Eberflus. We need a young guy in there who's got some experience, who has proven that he can ball out. I wish to God somebody would let us go up in San Francisco and grab one of their guys and bring some of that magic here, man.
Yeah, so the Bears win 27-16. Oh yeah, Plank, last word on that, then we close out. What you got, Plank?
I'm angry that everybody keeps talking about the Bears only won 1 Super Bowl. Y'all not giving us credit for winning the NFL championship in 1963. Oh, no.
73-0. Oh, yeah.
Y'all right.
Well, it's just like it's like that 5th championship that LeBron just won. Oh, wait a minute. That was just a mid-season championship.
And don't get me started on LeBron.
Yeah. So the Bears pulled it off 27-16 today. Next week they play. Who they play next week?
Falcons. And we still in the playoffs.
The Falcons. Okay, we play the Falcons next week. Okay. So
we're still in the playoff picture. I can't wait. How that happened.
Okay. Yeah, and also those who are out there watching, it looks like the live. Hit the subscription button. Subscribe to Bears Banter. We'd like to have you as a subscriber. And it looked like the January 7 game that Mark Chin is going to get together for those who want to come and participate. I think it's the 7 game, whatever the next game after that. But we're going to get together and do the whole thing that day. Whatever, it depends on the time. So we'll probably start with a pregame show. Everybody can participate. We're going to have some food for Mark Chin. And then we're going to do the post-game show. So, hey, everybody going to get a chance to get on the mic that day if you want to.
There you go.
So until then, peace.
Man, this